super football game. For the first time ever at Buffalo, Steve Tasker introduced. The crowd in a frenzy. Tasker going to his 7th Pro Bowl, and Jim Kelly against Dan Marino for the umpteenth time. And the Bills defensive Bryce Paup with the 16 sacks. Bruce Smith with 5 in the last 2 weeks. Brian Cox, Pro Bowl linebacker for the Dolphins. Venerable Don Shula, venerable Marv Levy. All they know each other and their team so well. Early on, Terry Kirby, 3rd and 1. Bruce Smith stuffs him. 4th down, Terry Kirby stuffed by David White. Who? David White, remember the name. White is pumped up. Bills defense says, not in our house. On offense, Steve Tasker. He would run the ball 6 times for 50 yards today. This one, 11 yards. Tasker running, receiving, returning punch. And then Thurman Thomas left for 12 yards.
Yeah, and he shows great patience there, waiting on the block to get outside for the yardage.
But Marv Levy's club stopped inside the 10. They settled for a field goal. Penalties hurt Miami then, Tom.
Yeah, the obvious penalty here on Steve Tasker was an obvious call there, and then you're going to see the offsides here by Trace Armstrong. Up at the top of the screen, he's going to give Kelly a free shot at the end zone. It's incomplete, but again, a free shot at the end zone.
And even though it's incomplete, the flag, and it keeps it going. It's a 6-3 game in the final 2 minutes of the half until Thurman Thomas. Bulls, touchdown. Buffalo scoring as the good teams do in the final minute of the half. Another 100-yard game rushing for Thurman against the Dolphins. 13-3 Buffalo late in the second quarter. Trace Armstrong says, I know it was me. Dan Marino then feels the pressure and he's hit by number 90, Phil Hansen. Tommy, what happened?
Yeah, his left hand gets caught right at Hansen's helmet right there. Looks like almost in the helmet. Marino goes in the locker room in obvious pain.
But Dan, there's no way you're going to keep him out. And in the third quarter, he comes out, and the first play after a turnover, Marino makes the Bills pay to Eric Green. Boom! Touchdown, 25 yards. We're tied at 13. Then, though, the Bills defense, Bryce Paup and company sack Marino. On the next possession, Kelly goes to work. Last seconds of the third quarter, to Thurman Thomas, 11-yard touchdown, 20-13, Bills. Fourth quarter, Don Shula's offense tries to get it going. End around to O.J. McDuffie. Look at Bruce Smith run him down.
Yeah, Bruce Smith flattened down the line just the way he's supposed to, but outstanding speed for a defensive end.
So Marino says, okay, he sucks Cornelius Bennett up and dumps it beautifully to Byers behind him for 25 yards. Next play from the 5, Blaney Pomeroy. It's a touchdown, and with 9 minutes to go, we are tied at 20 at Orchard Park, New York. Dolphins get it back, but David White, cut 3 times since his rookie year in '93, makes the interception. Marino can't believe it, but give the Dolphins defense credit. For the 3rd time in the game, they stuff Buffalo inside the 10. They hold them to a Steve Christie field goal, which he makes, but it's still just a 3-point game, 23-20, 6 minutes to go. Marino then says, let me see if I can suck Bennett in. No, Cornelius gets back and makes a great play.
A slimmer, quicker Bennett. You can see right there he has better movement than I've seen from him all year.
And the Dolphins did not get the ball back because too much Thurman Thomas. Thurman, 35 for 148 yards, 11 yards. 3rd and 2. I know it's only a 3-yard run, but that's a gutty 3-yard run. And Brian Cox and Carwell Gardner from
Louisville
get into a fracas. It's a race. It's better than the heavyweight fight we saw last night, I can tell you that. But Cox is gone, and you know his history in Buffalo. Why is he so upset, Tom?
Well, a sense of frustration. He realizes that their season may be over right here as he gets dragged a little bit by Thurman Thomas, and Thurman gets the first down.
Oh, Thurman was just tough, 148 yards. The Bills have won the AFC East for the 6th time in the last 8 years by the 23-20 count, and now Miami has to go to St. Louis next week and hope the Bills pretty much ensconce as the number 3 seed. And forget that the Cox-Bennett Gardner fight there. This was a heavyweight bout. This was, in my opinion, Tommy, the best football game from start to finish we've seen because it was just a football game. They know each other so well. Each team would give a knockout punch. The other team would come back. I think both teams held their head high, although Miami now in some trouble.
Well, great game, well played by both teams, and I think that fans will walk away talking about a turnover here or a missed, ill-timed throw by Marino at the end of the game. But I think the key of this ball game is that the Buffalo Bills have rediscovered running the football with a healthy Thurman Thomas. 35 carries today for 148 yards. He also added a touchdown catch. You have a great complement of defensive players. This is one of the great football teams in football right now. And Brian Cox is an outstanding player who just has to learn to control his emotions. I think what's happening now is that he's getting baited into situations because players realize they can take advantage of that emotional edge that he stays on all the time.
You know, Tommy, you talk about running. The first time when Miami played, I think their game of the season when they beat Buffalo, they ran for 148 yards today, 42. Yeah, Buffalo's defense held Miami to 42 yards running. And as far as Buffalo running, as we go inside the numbers here on NFL Primetime, 155 yards a game for the Bills against the Miami Dolphins, and you go back to 87 through 95. 7 times a 200-yard game rushing for a team, including today. They're 16-4. And oh, by the way, Marv Levy, lifetime against Don Shula, 16-6.